Dustin DePierre, Indy Star. I want to ask you about to start a couple of IU guys. First, I want to start with Trace. I think when we talked to you in Indiana, he was kind of more on the bench at that point, basically, and he's certainly been productive lately, getting more of Kevon's minutes. Just what's impressed you about what he's done just over this stretch?
Trace is just incredibly mature for a rookie. He's a little bit like the bigs who came into the league, way back when I played, lots of college experience, already grounded in the fundamentals of the game. So it's easy to throw stuff at him, sort of NBA stuff that he hasn't seen before and expect him to pick up on it because he's got this great fundamental base. But he's a great finisher. Really good timing on his screens. Very rarely picks up illegal screens. Lob threat. He and Chris Paul have really developed a great connection, and a rim protector, shot blocker. So we're thrilled with Trace. He's playing great.
Also, want to ask you about Will Sheehy, a guy that's been on your staff for a couple of years. Used to be was an IU guy as well. I mean, just what's been just his value? What do you feel like he's just brought to your staff over the last few years?
Will's been fantastic. He's in a role right now where he's really connecting the analytics with the game film, and he works his tail off. He basically breaks down every single play of the game for us defensively, and he matches our tape with our coverage mistakes with the analytics, and it's an area where I think we've really improved the last few years since we brought Kenny Atkinson on board. Kenny's very involved on that front, on the analytics front, and Will is really helping us kind of figure out what matters and what doesn't analytically. But he's just got a great way about him because he played, he understands the game from a player standpoint, but also from a number standpoint. So Will's got a really bright future.
Steve, speaking of the analytics and video study, have you been able to sort of decipher what is the cause behind some of the defensive slippage over the past few weeks that was, it was really high in last month, but past few weeks it's dropped a little bit?
It's not always clear, Monty. I mean, there are some games where we just appear sharper. Maybe we're just feeling better. Our old guys are a little sharper, a little quicker. But there are games for sure where teams break us down and they get some momentum and then shots start going in. But I haven't been able to locate anything analytically that is dramatically different other than shots going in versus not going in. And sometimes that is the case. I watched the Memphis game from the other night, first 3 minutes of the second half. They missed 2 open corner threes. We go down, we make 2 threes. We get a stop and a layup, and all of a sudden, 8 straight points, they take a timeout. On tape, our defense wasn't spectacular. They just missed, and so we have to maintain a higher level of intensity and energy and better discipline and all that. But then some nights shots go in too.
Yeah, I've seen the number of, we were talking about this with somebody else the other night, the number of open corner threes that you guys have been giving up lately, and wondering if there were results of breakdowns or overhelping or any theme at all.
Usually breakdowns. Usually, like one of them to start the third quarter, we should have been chasing the shooter, and we tried to shoot the gap, and the guy faded, and that's a play that we always chase. So it's just a coverage mistake, but those are things we work on every day and try to correct when we do see mistakes. I do think our guys are playing together and connected and playing hard, and but we are going to have to find a more consistent level defensively if we want to make the run that I think we're capable of.
Just to continue that topic, are there certain kind of threes, either personnel-wise or location-wise, that you are more fine giving up than corner threes? Like, is that what you're trying to do in any way?
No, I mean I think in general, We are a team that protects the basket first. We believe that if you don't handle the basket and the paint, then it doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to be a good defensive team. So we generally have been very good at protecting the rim, protecting the paint for a long time. Here, Draymond does a great job patrolling. The way we play, we cover up that paint, and then we have to scramble out. And the ones that bother me are when we don't recognize personnel. We know we're going to be flying around and we're having to close out on shooters. It's really important to know who you're closing out to. Sometimes if you're closing out to a poor shooter, you have to stunt and fall. You gotta get off of that guy. And when we do that, we're pretty good. But when we don't recognize who we're playing against, then that's where we give up shots to the wrong people.
Steve, Podziemski's obviously does so many other things, but the last couple games he has barely scored. Like no points a couple games ago, one basket the previous game. Do you ever say, hey, we need some, do you ever tell somebody we need some points? He's playing a guard position,
yeah.
So it doesn't matter to you?
I don't care if he scores or not. He's in every one of our best lineups. He's our best plus-minus guy for the year. He's really good no matter whether he's scoring or not. And I know that, especially as a rookie, he'll have ups and downs from a scoring standpoint. And right now he's in a down period. But he allows other guys to play well just because of his recognition of what's happening on the floor, his cuts, his ball movement, his spacing. I'm thrilled with Brandon, and as long as he keeps playing as hard as he is, he'll be out there.
In general, how valuable do you think this experience is for the younger players on the team playing in so many successive games with high stakes, given where you guys are at in the standings?
Yeah, it's very valuable for guys like Trace and JK and BP Moses. But we want to keep that going. We want to get into the playoffs and have them feel what that's like, because that's a different level. And we know we're right there. We have an opportunity, but we've got to turn it up, and we got to be more consistent here down the stretch. Thanks.